So I left my wallet at work yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
My janitor, my managers. Hey, so I'm gonna take all the money out of it. Is that all right with you? I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Wow, I didn't know your manager was a greedy Jew. But anyway, let's.
You need to go. You need to go closer to the mic for that one. It was already loud enough. Rest assured.
So Peter, what did you do yesterday?
I became a manager at a paint store, and I just I took some fucking loser's wallet.
Because I'm a greedy Jew. Okay.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, you want to start recording now?
Yeah, let's start the episode.
Welcome to the Cinema Dash. As always, I'm Gads.
And I'm Deej.
And today we have a special guest. We talked about him on the show for a lot of times, and thank God we have him so he can stop that fucking asking me.
Yeah, and
it's our friend Peter
Aiden.
So,
okay, so
let me just clear some things right now.
Oh God.
A, we're not friends, so don't call me that. B, I don't want to be on this fucking show. I'm just getting paid to do some sponsorships halfway through.
Is Theoretical Swag gonna start sponsoring us now? Is that why
And
you're on
C,
here?
if you don't stop mentioning me on your fucking show, I might just have to make a rap album. Dishing your asses.
Is it gonna be fire?
Straight
fire.
I can't wait to see it on SoundCloud later.
All right, and
All right,
yeah. So we all mutually agreed that we all hate each other, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Correct. So we all decided that we would spend 3 hours of just being in a room together and watching a movie.
It's absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so due to the lull of movies that are coming out that we really don't want to see, we mentioned that we didn't want to see Ghostbusters, and that's coming out this week. Neither of us have seen Jason Bourne movies, so maybe we'll watch Jason Bourne before it comes out. Maybe we can catch it on the later end of its runtime. But maybe we'll see a Jason Bourne review. We don't know yet, but we're gonna definitely watch those.
Peter, have you seen the Jason Bourne movies?
I've seen The Martian, I've seen Saving Private Ryan, and I've seen Interstellar, so I think I'm alright.
Yeah, I think you've seen all the Jason Bourne movies.
And speaking of Interstellar, that's what we watched.
Yes, and we saw Interstellar.
Yeah,
so we're gonna be talking about and discussing
Try
that.
that one in, right? So
time.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that one and discussing it and stuff like that. Where Matt Damon, or Mark Watney plays Matt Damon,
and Mark Martin plays Matt Damon, who plays another
astronaut. So yeah, we saw Interstellar last night. Christopher Nolan's 2014 smash hit.
Yeah.
And
it's also
we're gonna talk about it.
It's also Peter's favorite movie of all time.
It's also Peter's favorite movie.
Yeah. Why is it your favorite movie of all time, Peter?
I don't know, man. It's just fucking good fucking shit, man. All right, we'll get into it. Don't worry.
Yeah, let's get into it.
In section 3, the good. I'll tell you all the goods.
All right.
Just wait for it. Just wait for it.
All right. So what was the movie
So
about?
Interstellar's pretty
Tell
much...
me as if I never saw the movie with you guys yesterday.
Oh, you didn't.
Okay.
I mean, I felt. I mean, we watched it in my house.
Yeah, but everyone other than you was there. Actually, you were watching a different movie. We were watching it.
He was watching White Chicks. We were watching Interstellar. So
Yeah.
that was the problem.
Yeah, White Chicks is a great fucking movie.
Yeah, of course it is. But anyway, pretty much what this movie's about.
Same joke, an hour and a half.
Of course,
movie.
yeah. And
Why not?
And it works.
Could I just say before we start?
I love every Melissa McCarthy movie, so please just don't judge me.
Okay.
All right, Peter. Anyway.
Why do you love every Melissa McCarthy movie?
Because her jokes are just so original and they're so unique, you know.
What's your favorite Melissa McCarthy joke, Peter?
All right, let's get on to the story.
Wait, one last question for Peter before we go on.
Yeah.
Fear anime death right now.
I got a top 10 favorite anime death. In Cory in the House, the juicer juiced the background character number 22. So I think that was really a fun.
I'd like to contribute to this anime death thing. My favorite is when they use Carl Weezer's pants as a sail to go across the ocean in that one Jimmy Neutron episode.
Who died in that?
Carl Weezer's pants.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Did you forget about that? Yeah.
I thought we were talking about George Costanza's wife licking too many animals.
Yeah, that's the best anime death ever. All right, anyway, let's get on to this movie review.
Yes.
All right, so story. Pretty much basic outline from what I gathered is that the world is dying, right? So there's a lot of dust storms. There's a food shortage, and the whole population of the world is halved. So Matthew McConaughey was a NASA test pilot, and him and his daughter like a lot of science stuff, and he's like been teaching his daughter about a bunch of stuff, but he had to lose his job as like this NASA test pilot and to become a farmer, and like the whole world is like adjusting to this whole food shortage thing where like now like there's no more military, there's no more wars, everybody's just focused on growing more food so the human population doesn't die out.
Yeah.
And so the whole world's changing and stuff like that, where eventually where Matthew McConaughey and his daughter stumble upon what's left of NASA, and they send him on a mission along with some other top tier scientists and stuff
And
like
two
that.
robots.
And two robots to discover new worlds for humans to inhabit so they could save humanity and stuff like that. And that's pretty much like a basic outline of what the story of Interstellar
Of course,
is.
this also takes place a little bit in the future. As well.
Yeah, this takes place in like I was reading the Wikipedia article after this and like a bunch of trivia about the movie just to like brush up for the review and stuff like that. And this apparently takes place in like 2065 or
26.
something like that.
Sounds
Yeah,
fair.
2065.
How old
So-
will you be in 2065, Peter?
I'm 19 now. It's
So-
2016.
Has it been your birthday yet?
It has been.
Alright.
So 2065 was 2016. 49.
It'll be 49.
I'm gonna be 49.
No, not 49. That's 49. Fuck you, man. I'm not here to do math. I'm here to review
We're
a
here to talk
good
about
old-fashioned
movies.
movie, dude.
Yeah.
We're here to review Peter's favorite movie.
Yeah. So
because that was the only reason why we let him on.
yeah.
Guys, could you just not? I don't want to be railed on today.
No, it's alright.
My
It's alright,
insecurities are
scamp.
showing.
Oh,
Don't worry, champ. We'll get you.
Yeah.
My wife divorced me. She
Jesus Christ.
she just left me after 19 years.
Oh man.
After
After 19, you're 19 years old, Peter.
You said you're 19.
all right, let's get on.
Alright, so first impressions about this movie. I really wanted to see it actually back in 2014. I just never got around to it, but I really wanted to see it in IMAX because I heard that was like the quintessential way to
The
view
way
this
it should
movie.
be seen.
Like how it should be seen and stuff like that. Now, mind you, I really did want to see it in IMAX, but even watching it on your HD TV and stuff like that with like a decent sound system, like it still sounded amazing, like
Yeah.
really good. Like they put a lot of care into like the sound of this movie.
Yeah, that's
But anyway, like
strange.
first impressions, like I really wanted to see it. Heard it was a great movie because Christopher Nolan, like he always makes great
Yeah.
movies.
He's a
from what
cunt.
I've seen. Oh.
Nah.
Is
Yeah, you hear that, Christopher Nolan? We're calling you out, son.
I think it's our first C word ever on this show.
Yeah, really. I've never
Dude.
said that.
Wait, really?
Wow, Peter. Yeah.
Cunt?
Oh, that's the second one. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
shit, I'm gonna say
We're off
that.
the rails.
I'm
No,
gonna say
no.
that way too much. Alright, I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
It's,
alright.
it's your favorite insult, is it?
Cunt, yeah.
It just
Thirty.
rolls.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Fucking and cunt.
Oh God. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I like fucking, both literally and
Oh yeah, of
in
course.
the word sense.
Of course.
But yeah. I heard about this movie.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it.
And I was looking forward to seeing it. I never got the chance of seeing it, but a lot of my friends did. Like this man right here.
You guys friends. I'm sorry. You go. I'm sorry.
Are
I'm
you
sorry.
fucking serious right now?
I just
Stupid
bully
piece of
people
shit,
to
I'll
raise
fucking
my
kill you.
self-esteem. Like it. You're good.
So yeah, a bunch of friends of mine saw it, said they liked it a lot, and I kind of wanted to see it, but I just never got the chance to see it.
All right.
You want to fucking say into the mic, piece of shit? You
No,
said
I
it.
didn't say anything. Is it my turn?
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
first
Yeah.
impressions.
Yeah.
Like back in 2014,
Back
when
in
you first saw this
2014.
movie, what were you expecting
Alright.
going in?
Well, I saw the trailer, right? And the trailer, you guys saw the trailer. Right?
Yeah.
I did see the trailer.
Yeah. So it like fucking it was like the spaceship plunging into the wormhole.
Right.
And I didn't know what the fuck that was representing, so I was like, that's fucking dope, dude. Like that's literally my only impression. I just thought this movie was gonna be like a no plot bullshit that was just based on like special effects. So I was like, honestly, it's worth the money. If it's an IMAX, fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
Gravity was
Yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah.
the plot was shit tier, in my opinion. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I agree with you on Gravity.
Alright.
I thought Gravity was like a very technical movie,
Yeah.
not so much a story movie.
Exactly.
I never saw Gravity, so I
sorry.
will want to watch it. So yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you
Sorry,
on that.
but yeah, I thought this was just gonna be like one of those movies where it's like it's just all visual based and there's
Right,
like no
Story.
no story to it, like no plot, no nothing. But when I went into the movie, dude, that was fucked up. Like, like everything about, I swear to Christ, I was like losing my mind. I forgot I was in a movie for a while. Like when I stepped out of the movies, I was with like 5 other friends. I was like looking around. The people watching can't see this, but I was literally like this. Like I didn't know where the fuck I was at the moment. And actually, we were in a different town, so I really didn't know where the fuck I was. But I don't know, man. Like that shit hooked me, and it hooked me good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing when a movie does that, when it just hooks you
Oh.
from it, like instantaneously.
Definitely, yeah. That's the makings of a good movie.
Yes.
Definitely. But yeah,
These are
so
your favorite movie, should I
yeah,
say. When it
True.
catches you instantaneously.
true. But yeah, I've always been like a huge sci-fi guy. Like Star Wars, again, like I've mentioned this many times on the show, but Star Wars is like my favorite thing ever. It's like my favorite movie series. It's like,
I'm just
oh,
getting
okay.
some water.
Anyway, no, it's like it's like my favorite movie series ever. I've always been really into sci-fi.
What was that?
Why'd you overreact? I was just getting some
Oh no, because I
water.
thought you were gonna like hit something. I was like, oh my god, what are you doing?
No, don't worry.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
We had
Anyway.
a recording, so if anything were to happen, we
Yeah.
had it right
So So again, I've been always really been huge into sci-fi. Like Alien is another one of my favorite movies. I've always loved sci-fi, everything sci-fi, whatever. So yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing this movie because one, I really like Christopher Nolan as a director. I really like what he did with the whole Batman trilogy and what he did with Inception and stuff like that. And
Peter, what are you doing?
I'm trying to cheat my Fitbit.
oh, okay.
You keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
You're good, you're
Anyway,
good.
so yeah. I've always been a pretty big fan of Christopher Nolan's work and stuff like that. And then when I saw he was doing something like in the vein of like, when I saw he was doing something in the vein of like a space movie, like 2001: A Space Odyssey or whatever, he was like going to tackle that kind of genre
Yeah.
movie. I was interested because he's always been a very visual director. He's always been like a very solid writer and a great director. So I was looking forward to seeing this. And I think we can all agree
Yeah,
after watching this movie that we all really enjoyed it.
I genuinely like this movie.
I did. I enjoyed this movie a lot.
I fucking loved it.
No, obviously you loved it. It's your favorite movie.
Same.
Alright.
But yeah.
So, the good, Peter.
The
Tell
good-
us
Yeah. Why don't you start off with
Yeah.
the good, Peter? It's your favorite.
Why is this movie so good to you?
Why do you
Tell
think
me
this
why.
movie is
So-
why is this your
Guys,
favorite?
calm,
movie?
okay, first off, I just want you guys to calm down.
Alright.
Second, I don't know, man. It's just everything about the fucking. Like, I didn't think it was a movie. Like, when I went into movies, I didn't even know I was in a fucking movie. I was literally sat down on the fucking floor, right? It was in IMAX as well. Like, you said yourself, this is meant to be watched in IMAX.
Yeah,
I
hands
sa-
down.
I sat on the floor, on the stairs, because I didn't want to be in the fucking front, because then you look up and you see the pixels, and
Yeah.
you can't see the entire screen. So I was sat in the back, on the stairs. Do you know how, well, first off,
The sound design was fucking off the fucking roof, dude. And right now I'm just fucking up the sound design right now. So
Peter, stop.
so Dee's just gonna have to edit this shit down.
but,
You're an asshole.
It's gonna take a week to
is that a thing you guys do on the show? My bad, guys. Sorry.
It's all good.
That's right.
No, but,
No, first time's a charm, Peter. You got this.
alright, first time's a charm. No, but dude, it was fucking crazy. Like, when it was blasting off,
Right.
like, you could literally feel the fucking vibration in the floor. So I do you guys know what the brown noise is? It's like a note that's played that you like shit
Yes.
your pants. I
Yeah.
almost shat my pants. Like, dude, this movie just made me feel shit I've never felt before. Except if I get like penetrated. Like, like story wise, it had me hooked from the beginning. Like, I
Right.
fucking loved all the characters. Like, Matthew McConaughey's a fucking G. Like, he had so many clever one-liners. Like, the whole conflict of the story, especially the beginning. Like, I mean, as far as conflict goes, the beginning is more of like a moral conflict, and then the middle bit is more of like a survival conflict. Yeah, but I don't know. I thought the beginning was like such a big hook. Like, a lot of people say it's just really slow. Like the beginning is really slow, and like looking out to you guys while you're watching, like, I know Paulie was like on his phone the entire beginning. I was like,
well, fucking Paul is the worst person to watch a goddamn movie with.
really?
Yeah. The only genuinely good time I actually had to watch the movie with him was when we watched X-Men Apocalypse.
Really?
Because we both equally wanted to watch this watch it really badly, so we just kind of sat. And that was also in the theater,
Right.
and not in our house.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, most of the time Paul will either just watch like half a movie and then walk away and not come back to it, even if it is a really good movie, or like he'll just like not want to watch it.
What a cunt.
Yeah,
If
honestly.
I'm gonna fucking kill that kid later.
Oh.
No, but no, yeah, I was just fucking hooked from start to finish. Like, it was a 2.5-hour movie. It felt like an hour movie to me. Like, it just passed so fast. It was insane. I mean, and also the science was so fucking cool in it. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like a science junkie, and I fucking love sci-fi movies. And I think this movie like tackled science in a way that no other movie ever has. And I like really respect it for that. And also like just the fucking accuracy, like the little attention to details. Deej pointed that out while we were watching. Like the attention to details is so good. Like even when it's like rotating to create gravity, like no sound in space, even the wormhole being in 3 dimensions. They hired Kip Thorne, a world-renowned theoretical physicist, to fact-check this fucking movie. Like, that's how you know they're fucking dedicated to keeping it accurate, and I fucking respect that. I don't know why I'm cursing so much, but
Have you never watched an episode?
Yeah, really.
I saw the Oscar predictions episode, but I didn't like some of your predictions, so I kind of
So you just unsubscribed?
yeah, I just unsubscribed. I was like, I kind of like these guys though. They're pretty cool, so I
Hey,
resubscribed.
Thanks, dude.
Alright, so that's all you got there for why it's such a good fucking movie?
Nah, I got more, but I want you guys to talk for a bit.
No, and yeah, like I'm gonna agree with what Peter said about like just how it tackles different kind of conflicts. And how the beginning is like moral conflict as to whether like he should stay on Earth and take care of his family, or should he go out and possibly save all of humanity while also probably ending up dying on the way there.
Right.
I really like that one probably the most out of all the conflicts that they choose to tackle in the movie. But also with survival, it's just like survival in space is kind of like a movie that is something that's been tackled in movies quite often.
Yeah.
Whether it be Star Wars or any other real.
Sorry.
So yeah, whether it be any real like other sci-fi movie that takes place in space, like Star Trek or whatever. But I think I agree with Peter that tackles it in a much different way, and it also elaborates it so much, like with how they do it with like the facts and everything with it. They did a very nice job tackling like an average person won't understand like the science of this movie.
Right.
But they do a good job explaining the science with it, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people kind of don't like, because it really drags on. Like, what is it, 2.5 hour movie?
Yeah.
Like, they really do explain the science to it, and I think it's like, if you don't explain the science, nobody's gonna know what the fuck's going on. So I think that's a redemption. Like, you could let that one pass, because otherwise, like, no one's gonna know what's going on.
I agree. Like, the more you explain it, I mean, there's too much explaining, and there's just enough explaining, and this movie did just enough explaining. So.
I think my favorite part about this entire movie was that this is one of the best looking movies I think I've ever laid my eyes on. The visual effects in this movie are out of the so no pun intended, but out of this fucking world.
No, that's
like I'm
pun
convinced.
intended.
Yeah, probably. But anyway,
More like
no,
out
like
of this galaxy.
nailed
there you go,
it.
there you go.
Yeah, look at that. High fives all
That
around.
actually really hurt. You like
Sorry.
got the bottom.
Alright, but anyway.
Well, look at my fucking hands, Peter, compared to yours.
Dude, big hands, big dicks.
It's like gargantuan.
But anyway, but I honestly think that these are some of the best visual effects ever put to screen. I really do. Like the entire sequence with the wormhole and the docking sequence, just them on the planets too. Everything about this movie visually.
The docking scene.
Yeah, the docking scene. Everything about this movie visually is utterly and absolutely impressive. It's mind-bogglingly incredible.
Yeah.
I have to say, some of the best visual effects I've ever seen in a movie.
You said your favorite visual one was the which one again? What was
Wormhole?
your favorite visuals of the movie? Like which? Like,
Oh, that I was saying. When they went into. Well, I had two. When they first went into the black hole, when everybody was still alive, and when him and Brand were going into the black hole at the end of the movie.
You mean when going into the wormhole? When everyone
Going into the wormhole, and then when Cooper ejected himself out, or even that entire sequence. That entire sequence. Absolutely incredible, and it felt real too.
Yeah.
It looked real, and it felt real, and just the way that with Matthew McConaughey's performance as well, he was really selling the fact that he was going into this thing to die. He was going in this black hole, well, not to die, but like he sacrificed himself so that Brand could continue the mission. But he didn't know whether he was going to survive or not, because like when they mentioned in the movie that you have to enter this thing at top speeds, and there's a chance that you can exit or whatever they were talking about. But he took this chance, and just his performance really sold the fact that this was something that humanity has never seen before. And the way that Chris Nolan imagined this whole thing, or the visual effects artist as well, imagined this whole sequence, and just the rest of the movie in general with these different planets and stuff like that, and just space in general, it was absolutely out of this. It was absolutely incredible. And also, probably my second favorite part about this movie was that this is one of the prettiest movies I've ever seen. Right. Hoyt van Hoytoma, the cinematographer of this movie, really outdid himself on on the planets that Coop, Brandon, all of them were exploring, and back on Earth. It was some of the best visuals I've ever seen put to screen. The amount of care that was put into like the cinematography of this movie, just showing subtle details or showing a wide landscapes of Earth, like cornfields and stuff like that, but also on the planet when they're like in the water and stuff like that, or when they're on the ice planet and stuff like that, and just even dialogue in between characters was looked absolutely gorgeous. I'm a sucker for like I've always loved two things in movies, like when they shoot two things in movies. I've always loved like sea movies, like where they shoot things in like port towns and stuff like that. I've always liked the aesthetic, like Call of Cthulhu, stuff like that.
The aesthetic.
And I've also really liked rural stuff. So I've always been like a really big fan of like Terrence Malick's movies, like where he usually films stuff in like rural areas with like really tall like wheat plants and like cornfields and stuff like that, and like nice, really red sunsets. And I've always been a sucker for that. And Interstellar really nailed how this kind of rural landscape looks.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved the cinematography about this movie and the visual effects so far.
The one visual effect that I think was the most impressive was when they're on the ice, when they're like on the ice planet where Matt Damon was, and like the clouds are fucking frozen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
when they're flying this spaceship, and like for however, like, I don't even know how they did it, but like there's a ground on the ground, and then there's a ground in the sky. And, like, where on earth did you film this?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And also, they built like actual sets.
Yeah.
They like a lot of. Granted, a lot of this movie was green screen CGI and stuff like that. Like obviously, you're not gonna. Obviously, there's probably a planet out there that exists that's like the planets that we've seen in this movie.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, we're not getting there.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So the way it's just the amount
We can
of
sure
imagination.
try though.
Yeah, we could sure
exactly.
try. But
Try
the
our darndest.
creativity and just the care that went into fine tuning the details about these planets was just incredible. There can't be enough positive things that I could say about the visual effects and cinematography of this movie. They're just amazing. But another thing that I want to touch on that I really, really enjoyed was the performances of all the main cast.
Yep.
Throughout the movie, especially Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Throughout this movie, it's established that the stakes are high.
Yeah.
Like this is a do or die situation. Like the Earth is going to die if we don't go out there and explore. And the performances that Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway give, not so much in the beginning of the movie, but more so towards the middle end of the movie, they really sell the fact that this is it. Like we are the last bastion of hope for humanity. And, yeah, right, bastion. No, we're the last hope humanity has in order to survive.
Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey gets so into his role, and in the performance that he gives is just incredible. Even the subtle amount of detail that he just gives with his facial expressions, or when he's yelling at another crew member, stuff like that. His performance, he really sells the fact that this is it. And Hathaway as well. She and it's a shame because we're not seeing her like she was very popular back in like mid 2010s to like late 2000s and stuff like that. She was getting a lot of major roles, but now we're not seeing her a lot anymore, which is a damn shame because she's a fantastic actress. And seeing her in this movie again, really giving a really powerful performance like she does in this movie, really made me really happy because it's obvious that she has talent, and it really shines in this movie. And it's really a shame that Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway weren't nominated for their respective roles for like Oscars in this movie, because I really do think that Matthew McConaughey at least deserved an Oscar nomination, or maybe even a Golden Globe nomination for his performance in this movie, because I thought he was incredible. And I didn't think there was a bad performance throughout this movie. I really think even the child actors were great.
Right?
The girl who plays 10-year-old Murph, I thought she was great.
They didn't actually piss me off. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Most child actors really pissed me off, and I really genuinely liked the girl who played Murph as a 10-year-old. I really enjoyed her performance.
Yeah, even all the other like astronauts and scientists in the movie, like Michael Caine and Jessica Chastain and everyone else, did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't in the movie as much as McConaughey and Hathaway were.
Yeah. And speaking of which, like I was really surprised by the amount of people that were actually in this movie. Like Casey Affleck was in this movie, Jessica Chastain was in this movie, Michael Caine. Michael Caine's in every. Yeah, Mark Watney was in this movie. No, Michael Caine's in every Christopher Nolan movie though. But yeah, Matt Damon was in this movie. I was really surprised that. It was just like obviously like a big cast.
Yeah.
Like a big cast doesn't make a movie. A prime example of that would be the Counselor with Ridley Scott. Like that had Michael Fassbender, Javier Bardem, Robert Downey Jr., Cameron Diaz. Well, Cameron Diaz is a shit actress anyway, but
Oh,
like
whoa.
yeah, I know. Sorry guys.
Yo, she's
sorry
a
guys.
fan of me,
Sorry.
so she's watching this show.
Oh Jesus, I'm so
Guys,
sorry, Cameron
come
Diaz.
on.
But that movie's a prime example of like just because you have a very talented cast doesn't mean you can make a good movie. But this movie had a very talented cast and they made a good movie. So, you know, yeah. but
Star
yeah,
power, motherfucker.
yeah, star power. But like honestly, I really think that
You have no clue what the hell just
yeah,
happened.
yeah, we're not gonna. But I really think that every single character in this movie really contributed in a way that was beneficial towards like forwarding the plot and, well, not everybody actually. I'll get to that later when I talk
Alright.
about the bad. But a large majority of the characters really were good in forwarding the plot and stuff like that.
Alright.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the acting of this movie. As well.
Also, another thing about the actors, I think, is that there was a lot of humor in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
there was a
surprised
lot
by
of
that.
It was
Yeah.
at all inappropriate times too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's pretty fair. Like, you're sitting down for 2.5 hours. Like, you kind of want some humor.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, at least some comedic relief,
Yeah.
considering the stakes are so freaking high in this
yeah,
movie.
and that's why I think I love Tars as a character.
Oh yeah,
Like-
Tars, the voice actor who plays Tars is incredible.
Like, yeah, okay, he was mostly comedy, but like he could be
Well, he
serious.
had a,
Tars was a bro too.
Yeah,
like throughout the movie, he was a total bro.
He's my man.
He's the
my
dude.
boy.
Yeah,
I'm
he's,
pounding
he's,
my
he's the
chest.
And
man.
then Case.
Yeah.
Case was
Yeah, Case
was awesome.
Case had probably the funniest line
Yeah.
in that movie. Yeah, Tars does plenty talking for the both of them. Damn, Taze.
Oh, damn, Taze,
Alright,
relax, bro.
Fucking savage.
Seriously,
Yo, come on.
relax, dude.
No, but wait, were you gonna say something?
No, good.
Oh, okay. I was kind of zoning out for the past 10 minutes. Did one of us start talking about the sound design in that shit?
No,
No,
continue.
you can
no.
talk
Talk
about
about sound.
Actually, no. I'm pretty sure I talked about it, but I
Yeah,
I
go.
wanna talk about the soundtrack real quick. The fucking organ. That shit made me
Oh,
lose
yeah.
my mind.
The fucking
Like,
organ
Like,
was so just fucking
The
like.
synths and the organ. Oh my god,
it,
the soundtrack was incredible.
it actually gave me asthma halfway through. No, legitimately, every time I watch the movie, I know what's gonna happen. I saw the movie 4 times. I know what's gonna happen,
Right.
right? I fucking know. But every single time I hear that organ start low and then just get higher and higher, I'm like, something's gonna go big. Something's gonna happen. And I'm getting like shortness of breath. I'm like really into it.
Yeah.
And then it always has a payoff. Something great always happens.
Yeah, and like the thing is with Hans Zimmer, right? It was Hans Zimmer that
It
did the
was,
soundtrack,
yeah.
and like Hans Zimmer is again like world-renowned like composer and stuff like that. But I think that here's my unpopular opinion. I think that a lot of his scores sound the same.
Right.
But when he works with Christopher Nolan really pushes him to create a fantastic score. Like the Batman movie scores were amazing. The Inception score was fantastic. Some of the most recognizable like movie soundtracks are from Christopher Nolan movies, like
Yeah.
Inception's, the Batman scores. But with this movie, I really think I really genuinely think that this is one of his like top 5 movie soundtracks that
Yeah.
he's
The
ever composed.
The one part I think the organ really stands out is when he's like going into the black hole and like.
Oh yeah,
He's
hands down.
He's going to die. Spoiler. But like, just like the fact that you get the imagery of like like the church and like the funeral and like it's gonna be like this is like the last time like he'll be able to make contact with like people that he loves.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
And like it just the imagery and just the sound just all goes well perfectly. And that's like one of my favorite parts of the movie too.
Yeah, definitely. The sound mixing, the sound editing, mixed with the visuals, it's perfection. Whoever edited like the sound and stuff, I'm sure the editor did, but whoever was in charge of editing the sound.
That guy.
It was actually the key gripper.
Yeah, the key gripper. I know. I'm just like I'm sure this movie had like multiple editors and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
like one for footage, one for visual effects, one for
Yeah, of
sound, stuff
course.
like that. But whoever handled the sound mixing and the sound effects of this movie, it really deserves props because
it
was
actually-
absolutely incredible.
It did win an Oscar for sound design.
It did. It did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did,
I
so-
don't doubt it.
I see at least it's getting credit, you know.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
oh man, that was so fucking good. Like even the main theme, like that shit just makes me cry. Like anytime the main theme kicks in the film, like I kind of
Yeah.
get all.
And even like
teary-eyed.
the subtle, just like
Yeah.
when a subtle like a couple notes on a synthesizer are playing, like when they're
Yeah.
talking, or like when a very emotional moment is happening, like when Cooper's looking at like the whole like the retrospective of like the last 23 years that happened.
Oh my
Oh my god! I actually,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I actually did cry a little bit.
Yeah.
I did. I don't know if you noticed. I was like wiping tears away from my eyes.
Every
It was-
Tim.
No, I couldn't notice because I was looking the other way, making sure you guys didn't.
Oh, yeah, I got you. But no, yeah, but like even like just the subtle piano inflections that were happening throughout that, or when I'm not Murph, Cooper is like looking through the bookcase and Murph and stuff like or like when Cooper is in like the fifth dimension or the 3D space or whatever in
Yeah,
like
the
the Tesseract,
yeah.
and when he's looking at Murph, like just the soundtrack, this the subtle just piano inflections, little synth right then and there, or like an organ, or like something like that, just like.
Exactly like that.
It's slow and calculated, just incredible. Yeah, just but just like the little subtle, just like
Yeah.
inflections and stuff like that were just were just incredible.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
Maybe you stop stroking this movie's cock,
No, I
man.
kind of want
Yeah,
to.
yeah. I mean, this movie I think was very good, but it definitely has its share of problems. I
No.
think.
Before we go on, I just want to say something.
Sure.
Fucking this movie had so many amazing scenes that are just so. I don't know how to explain it, dude. Like, there's just so many scenes in this movie that when you're done watching the movie, you just go back and you just think about it. Like, you just think, how is this done? Like, fucking. Do you remember the docking scene?
Yeah.
Like, the internet was going crazy about the docking scene, and I think it was you who fucking loved the docking scene. Like, that was incredible. The wormhole scene
I
was
don't think it's
insane.
possible for you to dislike the docking scene.
No,
No,
that
yeah,
was
no,
cool
you
as hell.
can't.
Like.
You can't.
I'm still genuinely curious. I would love to see like a behind the scenes on like how they made the wormhole, how they made the
Yeah.
docking scene
Yeah.
happen. Like I know they built sets for this movie, like giant sets and stuff
You
like
can't
that.
build the set of a fucking wormhole.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like with the docking scene, I'm genuinely curious how they managed to pull that off.
You know, the only way you do that is if Peter Naruto runs while John Cena does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like in The Dark Knight Rises, like I know Christopher Nolan is a huge stickler for practical effects. Like they actually, like the opening scene of The Dark Knight Rises, they actually pulled the plane apart midair while they were filming that scene. Like that's incredible and whatnot. But they
Yeah.
did. They genuinely did. They actually flew a plane up in the air,
Yeah.
attached like things to it, and pulled it apart midair.
Nice.
Like it's ridiculous. But again, I'm just genuinely curious about how they made the docking scene and stuff
Yeah,
like
this is
that.
also one of
And-
these like one of the only movies where I would actually want to see a special edition, like how they did it, how they made everything.
Hands down, I would love to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like what Anthony said, I think it's time we stop stroking this movie's cock.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Peter-
While I did think this movie was very good, I do think that it did have problems.
Peter, do you have any flaws in this movie? Your favorite movie of all time?
There's no such thing as a perfect movie. I mean,
except Drive and
And-
Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back
and
and
Back to the Future.
Mad Max Fury Road.
I'm sure you could find some
No,
problems.
you can't, Peter.
No, you can.
Maybe with some of his movies, but not with mine.
No,
No, Back to the Future's got problems.
that's such a
But,
close-minded idea.
You wanna
fuck you. No,
Everyone's worse than me, basically. Just
Oh
throw
yeah,
it
yeah.
out.
fair enough.
No, that's not. To the viewers watching this, you guys are all worse than Gabs. I'm sorry, guys, but
I am a god.
no, of course it.
I'm God.
Of course it did have problems. Like
We all,
but
agree-
it's
we
just
all,
little
we all agree that
bits.
that love thing at the end was kind of.
Loving the end was stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
It was it was kind of cheesy, but
it was stupid, but like
you can see
like,
where
it's
it's
alright.
going. Yeah. But I mean, the only problems I have with it is like really small like issues with the like for example, they were saying, you remember when Matt Damon was a cunt and he was trying to
Kill.
he was trying to dock,
Yeah.
and they were saying like, do not dock, do
Yeah.
not dock. Like you could literally just say, do not dock, because it's gonna depressurize and blow your ass up. Like just say that, and he'll understand.
Yeah, but it was cutting in and out though.
Yeah, but I mean, even at the end, when she
No,
transmitted
like
to
even,
the entire
even
station,
before when he could hear them, before he
Yeah.
severed communication.
just say, you will die. Don't dock. Because Matt Damon would be thinking, oh, they don't want me to dock because I'd get away. But, you know, they were trying to save his life. What else? I'm sure there was something else.
I like the fact that at the end of the movie, like when Murph says Dad's gonna save us, and then like Casey Affleck's just like accepting her hug after like the entire time he's like, no, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, even with that line, she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you want to lose another kid?" I was
Yeah.
like,
I think at that point, he's just fucking defeated. Like, he just has a faraway look in his eye. Like, his crop supply is dead. Like, his children are leaving him. Like, he's just a broken man. I think he just lost the will to fight at that point. Like, I don't know. He just looked horrible. I felt horrible, but
I think in a way, like, kind of going like this is kind of going like the miscellaneous, but I kind of feel like the children of the movie are like the two sides of Cooper. Like if he were to stay
Yeah.
in on Earth, he would have been just doing what Casey Affleck did and just trying to grow crops. When in the end, they're probably going to die anyway, and the whole world would probably just die off. But like when he actually goes out into space, like he goes out and becomes like Jessica Chastain's character, where like she ends up saving the entire the entire world.
Right.
It's a good
So-
burp.
I have just two major problems with this movie, and then I have just a couple nitpicks that aren't really that big.
Nip.
Mine are
My
mostly nitpicks, but just like
Yeah, I got two major problems with this movie, and then I got a couple nitpicks. Like, but the nitpicks aren't really like flaws. They're just like things that I personally didn't enjoy. But my first major problem with this movie is that I didn't like Michael Caine's character at all. I thought that Michael Caine gave a good performance, but Michael Caine, like in every other Christopher Nolan movie, is just
Which one was that?
What?
Oh, I don't know who Michael Caine is.
Michael
So
Caine was the old guy.
Oh, the old guy?
He was
the,
the one
professor?
who was trying to
Yeah,
solve
Professor
that
Brown.
gravity equation.
Right.
Yeah,
okay,
the gravity
okay.
equation.
Alright.
my problem with Christopher Nolan. My problem with Michael Caine in this movie and with every other Christopher Nolan movie is that he's literally there to give exposition. Michael Caine is literally there to explain everything to the audience.
He's kind of the same character in all of his movies.
He is the same character in all of his movies. In Inception, he explained how the dreams work and everything, and then he's gone for like the rest of the movie till the end. In Batman, Alfred is like Bruce's moral conscience, and he explains, if you do this, this is going to happen. Don't do it.
Right.
But in this movie, he's just like, "Hi, I'm Michael Caine. I created this equation. Let me explain to the audience. let me explain to the audience how this works, and then I'm gonna not appear for half the movie and then die." I was like, "Okay, that's a little
His
off-putting."
death was really subtle.
His death was like, I don't know. It was like,
kind of just came out of nowhere,
but yeah, like he's just there. He's the exposition character in the movie. I didn't like.
that quote he keeps saying like.
The Rage Against the Dying of the Light, the poem. Yeah. I mean, Rage Against the Dying of the Light is a great poem, but when said by Michael Caine 30 times throughout the movie, it kind of loses its impact.
Like, I fucking
It kind
get
of
it.
loses its impact.
We get it, bro. Come on.
But yeah, so that's my first major problem with this movie. My next major problem with this movie is that I don't know if it's an artistic choice, or it has to do with the plot, but it also has to do with the cinematography in a way. I don't know if it was an artistic choice or autistic choice. I don't know if it was an artistic choice, but Christopher Nolan or the cinematographer. I don't know whose decision this was. Probably Christopher Nolan's, but they keep changing the aspect ratio of this movie, and it was really off-putting. Because like in one point you're in space with Coop and Brand and they're on a different planet or whatever, and it's a full screen 16:9 aspect ratio. Then when you cut back to Earth and it's like adult Murph and adult Tom and stuff like that, it's like super widescreen condensed and stuff like that. Like it doesn't serve the purpose of the movie and it doesn't build upon it in any way.
I kind of like that just because like I think he wants you to experience what space is. Because like this is like
yeah, definitely.
But like when like on Earth, like oh, you know what Earth fucking looks like. Yeah, you've seen it a billion times. Like you live in it, so like whatever. But like in space, like oh, I want you to experience more of it. So like here's more of the screen.
I got you. I don't know. It's just like a personal thing with me. Like I don't mind it when directors change aspect ratios in movies. Like a good example of changing aspect ratios, just like in the movie throughout the runtime, is the Grand Budapest Hotel. In every single time period, that movie takes place over the course of like 3 time periods, like the 1920s, the 1980s, and the present day. In the present day, it was like, I think it was like full screen, and in the 80s, it was like widescreen, but it was widescreen on the sides, not the top to bottom.
Yeah.
It was a different aspect ratio. And then in the 20s, it was like widescreen from top to bottom, not from left to right. So those just highlighted different time periods of just how things were.
Not here, right?
Just how things were. But in Interstellar, I feel like it just didn't contribute to the overall like artistic vision of the movie. And the main problem that I have with the story is that while I do think it was a good story, I think it was a very good story to tell, and I think that Christopher Nolan is Christopher Nolan is a director and writer that we need today. Because most movies are like sequels, reboots, sequels, or whatever the hell. Sequels. But like Christopher Nolan is one of the only directors working nowadays that can manage a big budget, can make these extravagant movies and still have a painfully original plot. it's like with Inception. That movie was original. It wasn't based on anything. Wasn't anything. It was completely conceived out of his own mind and his brother's mind. Then with this movie, conceived out of his own mind and his brother's mind and stuff like that. And that's why I think he's a very important director. But with this movie, it's a lot of this movie was not so much. A lot of this movie was just exposition. And like I get that it's what you need and stuff like that. That's what you need because like the science again was very confusing and stuff like that. And I'm cool with that. But when your entire plot relies on having people explain what's happening to you, it's kind of a little off-putting. And like I understand that
The
again,
common audience wouldn't know any of this stuff.
I know a common audience wouldn't know any of this stuff, but I'm just saying in terms of a movie, when you have such an exposition-heavy filled plot, it feels like the movie's holding your hands. But with this movie, there kind of can be an exception, like Peter said before, with the whole the science.
As Peter holds my
That
hand.
Peter holding your hand. Yeah, the science again is very very complicated in this movie, and it's stuff that the normal average moviegoer wouldn't understand. So there is a need. There is a need to explain what's going on in this. There is a need to explain what's going on. But in terms of just filmmaking in general, when you have such an exposition-heavy plot, it just feels like the film is just pandering to the audience. And again, it's like a double-edged sword with this, like I mentioned before. But it's a personal thing that just I don't know. With me, it's just a personal thing.
Right.
And also, my last main problem with this movie is the whole love thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a major problem with all of us. It's just this whole love thing. It's like love conquers all. It's like you created such an amazing universe, and like you filled it with these great scientific facts, like this very very in-depth and detailed scientific plot that spans over 3 planets in dozens of years and stuff like that. But then the overarching solution to everybody's problem is love. It's like it feels like just a punch in the balls at that point because you created such an in-depth and just incredible thing.
I also just don't like the way Matthew McConaughey said it. He's
No,
like love Tars, it's love.
It's kind of weird
Because
because
like Tars is like, what the fucking
Are you stupid?
yeah, no. When Dr. Brand was talking about love, I'm like, okay, I'll let this pass because you could see like she had a tie. Like to her, love was something that it was like an instinct. It was like a basic human survival. And when you go to Matt Damon, it's the same thing with him. Like his instinct to survive is what leads him to try to survive. So to her, love is her instinct to survive.
Exactly,
right?
and love is handled in 2 different ways in this movie. Like when Brand was
Yeah.
talking about like she wanted to see him, like that was genuine love. That's the emotion
That's
that she's
redeemable.
conveying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was complete because it was also a character development moment.
Yeah.
Because it shows that she's not this hard ass scientist. She's
Yeah.
also a human and she loves somebody else. Like it helps build her character.
But when
But when
McConaughey-
when love meshes with science, it's just completely batshit insane. Like there's no reason for this human emotion to mesh with something that's actually tangible.
But
you know?
I feel like you said before that love was like the solution that they're saying, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't really the solution. I think Coop, the character, I don't know why I had to elaborate that it's a character. But I think that Matthew McConaughey, like, I think he was a bit like maybe living in the moment at the time. Like, I don't think he really meant that love is the solution, because if you think about it, it wasn't the solution to the problem. It was the fifth dimensional beings giving them the ability to change
To
their past.
see what there is in
Yeah, it
three-dimensional
doesn't-
space.
It wasn't really love. I think it was just in the moment. He was so happy to see his character. Maybe like he was just.
And then he probably remembered what Brand said anyway.
Yeah, he probably remembered what Brand said, and he was just filled with emotion.
And also the fact that
Considering
seeing
that
his
he was
daughter too.
Considering that she was also the last person he saw.
That's the only way I could understand it, because throughout the entire movie, Matthew McConaughey, he's pretty hard about it. Like, he cuts straight to the point. Like, he's really fact-based. Like, he doesn't judge anything on love or anything like that.
Right.
He just...
Yeah, hence the part where they went to Matt Damon's planet instead of
Exactly, yeah.
the guy's planet.
So, for him to say it at the very end, I don't think he's having a realization. I think he's just living the moment. Like, I don't think love was the solution. I think, like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, that was kind of poorly written, but It's alright.
I don't know. I just felt like, I just felt like they could have handled explaining the
like
fact that love wasn't the solution a little bit better.
I feel like you kind of like that part of the movie, or you really don't like that part of the movie.
Yeah.
It just says a love thing.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like the whole sequence in the Tesseract was fantastic. Like it was one of my favorite parts of the movie, where he's like seeing Murph and stuff like that and stuff. But just the writing of that scene was just. Don't like Christopher Nolan. Don't get me wrong, is a great
you know
writer.
what it feels like? It feels like they took a week off, then came back to write that scene, and then took another week off, and like, oh, let's go right back to writing that script.
Yeah. And when writing that movie, you can't do that because you need to be like focused and consistent when writing the plot of that movie.
It did break consistency
A little bit.
kind of, yeah.
But overall, love is handled in two very different ways in that movie. There's the genuine, real emotion that Anne Hathaway feels towards the guy the astronaut that was on that planet, and then there was the kind of science-based part of love that didn't really mesh well with the overarching theme of like science is the main part of this movie. Other than that, just some nitpicks I had about the movie were it's all good. Just some nitpicks I had about the movie were I don't know actually, like I don't like
I'll do mine quick.
Sure.
Like I said, I didn't like the ending where like Casey Affleck just accepts the hug from from Murph. And also I did agree with the fact that the beginning is very slow.
Yeah.
Cause like I wanted the newer space. Let's go to space. Come on, let's go.
But for what it's worth, they did put him in the ship really quickly.
Yeah.
Like they did thrust him into that mission very relatively quickly.
He was trained though, to be fair, but
So you didn't really have to go through a training.
No, I'm not saying that's like a downside. I'm just saying that that helps to break the slow part of the movie. I do think the movie did have a little bit of some pacing issues. I do, and maybe not tonal issues, but I would definitely say more pacing issues. Like in the beginning, it's very, very, very slow, and then immediately we're thrust into this mission and stuff like that, and then it gets very, very slow again. Well, not very slow, but like on the slower end of the runtime, and then it picks right back up again. Like it's not a huge issue. It's just a little bit of a nitpick for me. But whatever.
I honestly thought that the beginning wasn't that slow for me. Like I thought that it went pretty quick because it was all character building, you know. Like that's all the beginning was. It was just straight up character building and exposition with fucking the old man, the professor, whatever the actor's name is.
I will also say that I feel like they should have focused a little bit more on the son in the beginning of the movie too.
Yeah.
Because he became like one of like the quote unquote villains at the end of the movie.
I don't want to say villain.
Like he hurt
he was just
punched
caught
the
up in
guy.
his pride,
Yeah, he's just hubris.
yeah.
Oh, that's why I said quote unquote villain.
I say T word. Sorry.
It's okay, Peter.
I'm gonna kill myself later.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna be the last time I'm heard on the internet, so alright, keep going.
Awesome.
Pussy.
All right, sweet.
Oh, what?
All right.
I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm done with it right there. Like I feel like the beginning was slow. The part with love was like not the best they could have possibly done at that point. And they should focus on the son more in the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know. The son, I never really give a fuck about the son, to be honest. Like,
because he's so like not that much as like this daughter in the movie.
He was kind of just
Even
there.
the other old guy was like
no,
not
but
that
you can
important.
tell Matthew McConaughey still loves his son. Like he still really loves his son. Like I'm sure there's some off-screen affection with him and some off-screen character development, but yeah, as far as what we see, it's just like he's really one-dimensional. Like I'm gonna take after my dad. Everything else is stupid, and also I'm a man, so I'm not gonna give my child aid. I don't know. I didn't like his character, but that's okay. But I definitely think at the end, you said like he just accepted the embrace. I really just think he was a broken man. Like, I don't even think he accepted it. I just think he didn't know where he was in the moment. Like, I think he was just done with life. Like, everything just crumbled down on him.
Yeah,
like,
realizing that his whole family would have left him regardless.
yeah, his whole family left him. His crops are destroyed. His other son died, like, shortly after birth. Like, I don't know. He's just done, dude.
I get you.
Yeah. Is there, like, wait, do you guys have anything else to say?
No, I was gonna move on to the miscellaneous part. Just
right.
caught our attention.
I was gonna say, for another bad thing, I mean, this didn't affect me, but there was, like, I feel like the number one problem that a lot of people have with the movie is that it's really science-based, but then there's a lot of, like what's inside of a black hole, like the wormhole shit, and, like, people have problem with that being science fiction when the rest of the movie is science-based, and I don't really have a problem with it, but I just want to address it like it's theoretical. Like
Yeah, that's like a stupid argument because we don't know what
Yeah.
the inside of a black hole looks like.
yeah, like you don't fucking know what's
Exactly.
going on. Like just don't.
And
make the
honestly, I
argument.
think that was a pretty genuinely cool like
Yeah.
representation of what it could actually look like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It was. I feel like it was grounded in reality a little bit
Yeah, maybe. But I mean,
because again we don't know what it looks like, but
exactly. And who's to say like maybe it is a fifth dimensional space? I mean, like nobody fucking knows. But,
it's not like our minds can wrap around it.
as far as the wormhole goes, I thought that was really accurate actually. Because again, they did have Kip Thorne fucking as the consultant. But the black hole, like, to anyone who had a problem with the black hole, get the fuck over it, man. Just
Yeah,
fucking,
really.
just fucking deal with it. Like, it's for the plot. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what happens. So.
You don't know, man.
Yeah, you don't know, man.
Exactly, because like when you make a movie like this or like Gravity, it's like you have to take into account that it has to be scientifically accurate, but then also it's a movie.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
has to be plot convenience for the sake of the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are some other things that caught our attention throughout this movie?
Are we moving on to section 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to say something. One more about the movie.
Sure.
If you guys like Marvel and you guys have an iPhone or an Android, you guys should definitely check out Marvel Contest of Champions now on the iTunes and the Google Store. Knock on the door. Oh shit! Hello.
Peter Aiden.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
me.
Yeah. Did you just promote Marvel's Contest of Champions?
Yeah, I just promoted Marvel Contest of Champions, the best game on the iPhone and Android at the moment.
We're not sponsored by them.
I am not sponsored. I swear to God, I just.
You want to get back on the phone, please?
Yeah, I'm on the phone.
So we're sending you $50 right to your bank account. Thanks for
$50?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thank
You
you.
keep doing a good job.
Right, bye.
Yeah, I like tits.
Wait, what? Okay, sorry. I
Anyway,
just had to get that off
Yeah,
my
I don't know what that
chest.
was,
I
Peter,
just,
but-
That's all cool.
I'm not sponsored.
Just one thing that I liked about the end of the movie is that how the Earth is like rotund now. It's like just
Oh
a
yeah,
circle.
the Earth's
it's
gone.
a tube.
No, the
Oh, it's a
Earth is
tube?
fucking
Yeah.
gone.
Oh, so what?
Well,
Wait, what?
do you
I think
remember-
I missed that.
We're on
Do
Saturn
you remember in the
Oh,
beginning?
we're on Saturn now.
Yeah.
No, they're not on Saturn, but
Now? Like, aren't they? I thought they were on Saturn. Well, they
orbiting Saturn.
Yes, Saturn.
So it's a tube on Saturn.
It's a tube orbiting Saturn. It's not on Saturn. It's orbiting.
Oh, it's just a
Saturn.
massive tube.
Yeah, near the wormhole. But what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
It was do you remember Old Man Professor?
Matt Cocaine.
Sure, that
Dr.
dude.
Brand.
Dr. Brand.
Yeah.
The other Dr. Brand.
Yeah.
Fuck, there's two Dr.
The
Brand.
old
Michael,
Dr.
Michael
Brand.
Caine is
Boy
is
Dr.
Michael
Brand.
Caine. Michael Caine. Do you remember Michael
Michael
Caine
Caine.
in the beginning? He was like, "Didn't you notice something weird about this station?" And then you like
Oh,
tilt
it's a
the camera.
centrifuge.
Exactly. That entire station was the station that was launched into space. So the equation he was trying to solve about gravity was how the fuck to get all of this up into the air, up into space, so that we could leave this Earth, and that we could habitate something other than a planet. Because we can't habitate the solar system, so we got to build a fucking
tube.
a tube, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's gravity influxes that like random anomalies going on in the atmosphere, and that's what the equations were for.
Mhm.
He was trying to figure out how to harness the energy of that, the gravitational energy of that, in order to launch the fucking station into space. He didn't know how to. In the end, Jessica Chastain found out due to the fucking data from the black hole, and that's how they got the space station up there. Did I go off topic? Wait, what
No,
were we
no.
even talking about?
No, one thing I don't understand is how did Matthew McConaughey? How did he get home? How did Cooper get home?
They found him in space.
They just found him in space.
Yeah, he was close to Saturn, and like the spaceships got him.
So if you think about it, like they made the black hole, right? Right?
Oh, the fifth dimensional being.
The
Yeah.
fifth dimensional beings. So if they made the black hole to help human beings, they made it, and they kind of like Matthew McConaughey. Like you could assume that, right? And they kind of like civilization, and Brand is populating a different planet, right?
Well,
So
they said that they chose the two of them to kind of like work that out.
Exactly. So you could say that they are looking out for Matthew McConaughey. So since they are fifth dimensional beings, you can make the argument they spit him out in a point in space where a ship would pass by and take them. They could do that. Like
Yeah, they could.
They're pretty much gods in our eyes. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. What else?
Is this just another like anomaly for heaven, or like God in general?
Nah, I don't think.
Probably
There's
nah,
probably a way around that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can make the.
I mean, Christopher Nolan's never really like explored religious,
Yeah.
especially it'd feel really out of place in this movie because it's science based.
No, yeah, I definitely don't think it was like
No,
a
I don't
religious
think
tone
it
to it.
Yeah, he's never really explored religion in this movie anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
What
So
else were you
no, I was just gonna give my rating of it.
Yeah.
saying? Miscellaneous.
We just did that.
Yeah. Miscellaneous.
You didn't go.
We don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like. We don't
Yeah.
really like
Mi-
follow this. This is just
yeah.
like kind of like a guideline.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Sam.
Yeah.
Same
But anyway,
thing.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I really like. I liked it, but I thought there was a little bit of problems with it. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good. pretty
I
good
would
movie.
knock over 8. I'd probably knock over 7 point. No. Yeah. I would knock over 8 out of 10 books on a shelf.
Try to have it binary.
To try to communicate to my
That was pretty
daughter
good,
who's
that
like
was
just
pretty
who's like my age.
I would slingshot 8 out of 10
Slingshot.
wormholes.
I would dock 8 out of 10 times.
I would. IGN rates it 10 out of 10, but I'm not IGN, so I'll rate it 12 out of 10 because
okay.
I fucking love this movie, dude.
Yeah. It's
Fucking love that shit.
oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Alright.
So that pretty much wraps it up, doesn't
Yeah.
it? All right, Peter. Thanks so much for
Yeah,
being
Peter,
here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
fucking
Leave a
sucked.
comment on this video.
I'll never come back to watch your fucking.
Yeah.
I already got what I wanted out of this fucking trailer. I mean, this fucking channel. I'm done with these shits. I'm never
Alright.
watching another video again.
All right,
Alright,
sounds-
Thanks for having me, guys. It was
Hey, you
fun.
got it, Peter. Yeah.
It was fun.
All right. Well, I'm Deej.
I'm Gabs. Who are
Nobody
you?
fucking cares about me.
Oh.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I love you.